Good evening, everyone. I am your narrator for today's event. For centuries, smallpox, or the angel of death, has claimed millions of victims, and society has yet to develop any means to prevent infection. Welcome to the inoculation debate, a controversy between religion and science, which has been prompted by an unfolding outbreak of smallpox in Boston, Massachusetts, here in 1721. Our first guest of the debate tonight is a well-respected pillar of the community and the church. Here to promote the new practice known as inoculation is Cotton Mather. His opponent, who will argue against Mather's untested technique, is the skeptical William Douglas, an experienced man of medicine. Will the people of Boston continue to be victims to the smallpox, or will the new technique known as inoculation protect the public from the angel of death? Mr. Mathers, you have the floor. Greetings. This case of smallpox has for sure gotten out of hand. With half the population ill and more than 800 casualties, I'd say the situation is in dire need of a solution. It is a good thing that I, the humbly esteemed Reverend Cotton Mather, have come with a solution to this pox. While told through the testimony of my slave, Onesimus, I have strong beliefs that this solution, known as inoculation, will be a saving grace from smallpox. The process itself seems simple enough, and through witness, it appears as though my slave does in fact have resilience to the pox. By exposing yourself to a smallpox material and introducing it into a lesion in your skin, you can potentially gain immunity to the disease after experiencing minor symptoms. William Douglas here. I interject. How can you trust the testimony of your slave? The ways of foreigners are outlandish and wildly different from our own civilized methods. Can you really trust the words of a slave? And what right do you have in the world of physicians? You're a revered and respected man of the church, but how does that give you the authority to interject in matters that should be left to the medical experts? You should stick to your own social class, you corny-faced lewd. Oh, aggressive. But I should tell you that I am adequately educated. I attended Harvard at the tender age of 12, and with my love for literature, philosophy, and science, I easily took upon the study of medicine. Mind not my lack of experience. I am a reverend with knowledge on how to answer the call of God. Though he has given this pox to us, he has also offered a solution. I only wish to use this knowledge to help the people, for is it not my duty? Illness is the devil itself, and I only seek to rid of the impurity that plagues our town. Well, I don't see why a church boy should have to sully his hands with the potential death of our town's population. There's not enough known about this practice. You claim that it will be a saving grace to those who have yet to catch the pox, but honestly, you sound insane. Please do explain to me and the kind people of Boston, how do you suppose this inoculation of yours will work, and how will it not infect the very people you're trying to save? Religion aside, I have proof supporting this approach to immunity. The process itself is effective. By scratching the skin and introducing an infected material into the wound, the body is able to develop immunity. Patients report experiencing only mild symptoms. In comparison, a natural exposure to the disease through the respiratory system causes severe symptoms and often results in death. So will you help me test this method? Perhaps together we may slay the angel of death. What? No. I'm quite opposed to inoculation. Did you not understand that from this entire conversation? I won't, I can't, I simply shan't aid you with this quest. Find someone else to perform your dangerous rituals. Very well then, sir. Then I shall do it alone, and you, I declare, are a scoundrel. And the hotly contested debate between Mather and Douglas continued. The tension between Mather and Douglas progressed into a public rivalry. The fate of the people of Boston continued to hang in the balance. Hi, just a fellow audience member here. I had a few questions that I would like to ask. If Cotton Mather failed to get assistance from William Douglas, how was he able to perform inoculations? Excellent question. By 1721, there had been a total number of 5,889 cases and 844 deaths. Cotton Mather's failed diplomatic request for support forced him to turn to the help of his colleague, Zabdiel Boylston, the rogue physician. Together, they were able to implement an inoculation campaign program. While 287 people had been successfully inoculated, there were 6 deaths. Oh my! How did the public react to this? The public was outraged. There were too many unknowns and not enough knowledge available to the public. They were left to rely on those with higher authority, who were decidedly unreliable. It didn't help that the divisions between intellect and religion, or religion and science, posed much controversy. So, what exactly were the differences between religion and scientific views, and what were their roles in this debate? The 18th century was an era of awakening for society. At the time, there was a heavy reliance on superstition to explain what was strange or unknown. However, as science began to develop, so came the division of beliefs. Those daring enough to break out of societal norms began to pursue logical explanations, as opposed to the reasoning given by superstitions and folk tales. The tension between Mather and Douglas represented that very division of beliefs. Furthermore, the dispute between the two would evolve into a pamphlet war in the papers. At times, Douglas wouldn't sign his letters in order to remain anonymous, but his attempts at remaining unknown were often unsuccessful. So, do you have any examples about these pamphlets? You're right, I sure do. Here's an example of one of the pamphlets written by William Douglas. Reverend Cotton Mather is a wannabe physician. The angel of death continues to reap the souls of the public, and instead of doing his roles as reverend, he insists on playing doctor. There's already been deaths as a result of this inoculation, so I can't tell if he's just persistent or brutally pig-headed. To the public, continue to follow smallpox safety regulations as we gather more information. Don't listen to what Mather has to say. He's a complete buffoon. Also, this isn't Douglas. And next here we have a diary entry from Cotton Mather. Supporting this inoculation is proving rather difficult. Who knew that the public wouldn't be accepting of this somewhat dangerous procedure that I heard of from my slave? In fact, it was yesterday morning in this month of November that a bomb, which thank goodness failed to detonate, was hurled through my window. Attached to it was a note that read, "Cotton Mather, you dog, damn you! I'll inoculate you with this, with a pox to you." Regardless, I can feel the desperation for good health and immunity surge amongst the public. I'm sure it's only a matter of time before inoculation becomes willingly sought out. It's a shame things didn't work out with Douglas. I hope we can find similar footing in the future. So, what happened after Mather first introduced inoculation? We can find the results in this entry from Mather's diary. The inoculation campaign successfully reduced the number of smallpox victims. As its effectiveness was observed, inoculation gathered more supporters. The increase in inoculations brought a decrease in casualties from the pox. There are still those who continue to reject inoculation, though the majority of the population has begun to accept the practice. Even William Douglas, the stubborn fool, has finally come around to performing inoculations himself. However, I must admit we are on poor terms with one another. Wow, that is just amazing! So, following the inoculation controversy, the perspective of Americans towards the practice of inoculation would be changed? That's incredible! And it was even monumental in the medical field, for it provided a future for the vaccinations of today. It was innovative for its time, saved people from becoming infected, and defied cultural beliefs. Yes. The significance of this debate was that it demonstrated the controversy between traditional beliefs and scientific breakthroughs. While debates are oftentimes heated, they can lead to increased understanding, the sharing of ideas, and provide alternate views of a topic. Diplomacy requires effort from both sides and a willingness to collaborate. The debate between Cotton Mather and William Douglas wasn't always diplomatic, but as we can see, the Boston smallpox outbreak of 1721 allowed for the strained collaborations of their efforts to introduce inoculation to society. Since the early days of inoculation, the technique has been refined and developed into the vaccine technology practiced today. Smallpox was officially eradicated worldwide in the 1970s. While the angel of death was defeated, the debate over vaccines continues on. And really, that concludes our debate for tonight. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and until then, stay safe and stay healthy.